Who were you before you were Boo? I wonder. Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to my show where we talk about games, gaming news, and game reviews, where I like to focus a lot on indie games and the developers that make them. If this is your first time, welcome aboard. Thanks for joining. Today, we're going to be reviewing a game that surprised me last year, honestly. It was part of my top games of the year for 2023. Go out and check that video if you can. Let me know what you think of my picks. But it was an indie game that kind of caught me off guard, washed me on aboard its ship. And that game is Dredge. This game is made by Black Salt Games. They're an indie studio that developed a game where it kind of, you see the games like Call of Cthulhu, you see Bloodborne. There's a lot of Cthulhu eldritch elements that they like to toy around with. Even the latest Baldur's Gate, for instance. This game Dredge liked to play a lot with the same kind of world and space of Cthulhu and eldritch spookiness, but in a different way, in a way I kind of wasn't expecting it to resemble Wind Waker. So what we're going to do today is talk about what is Dredge, what I played, what I experienced, why I liked it, and what I liked about it, I should say, what I think could improve or change, and my overall thoughts at the end. So let's get into it. What is Dredge? Dredge is a kind of a ship simulator of sorts. Think Wind Waker's boat that you take around in Legend of Zelda. You're a sailor who comes across this island where they lost their last kind of fisherman in their region, and so you kind of take up the role as local fisherman, and you ferry and you catch fish and any findings you see along the way. But they caution you, best not be going fishing past sunset because you might run into some weird things. And so that's where the game gets interesting. Is you're a ship, you're a sailor on a ship, fishing, a fisherman of sorts. You're kind of going through a little bit of a fishing game, essentially. Bare bones, that's what it's on surface, what you see. And you're catching a variety of fish through a little fishing mini game. And you would often think, oh, this is just like a mini game within a larger game, one would often think. But they've turned this into a full game with a story behind what has happened to this island and surrounding islands that err on the side of eerie, Cthulhu-y horror. Because as the town warns you, as night comes around, things get spooky and weird, and you start to experience different types of eerie activities, whether it be hidden stones or other ships that you think are out there that maybe not really are out there and something else is instead. And many more surprises that I do not want to spoil for you, because I think each one of those little eerie horrors that you kind of experience and wander into can be fun little elements of what made the game such an interesting and special experience. Outside of the fishing, though, the overarching story, lends you to that, and there's some objectives that you're doing for your island, for the immediate island you run into, and for surrounding islands. They each kind of want you to catch different types of fish that are found in different regions of their islands or series of islands. You largely are doing that and upgrading your ship in various ways based on the money you're making and the parts you're finding and the things you see in the water. It's a bit of like an inventory Resident Evil style. I would say like Resident Evil 4, where you're doing like the inventory management, kind of Tetris-y effect of it, of like, okay, I'm going out today. I want to make sure I maximize my time, and how can I make that as optimized as possible before dusk. And so that's largely what the game is and the experience is, and it's more fun than you think. Like, I think if I were to just, like, as I'm describing this, I'm going to be like largely showing some footage of sorts. Yeah, it's more appealing than I think it leads one to believe. I largely played this on my Steam Deck. I think the game clocks at around anywhere between 10 to 20 hours, I would say. So it's kind of bite-sized. It's not too cumbersome, and you can make it shorter if you like to just go the bare minimum experience that it offers. So that kind of goes into what the game is. Let's talk about a little bit of what I experienced and played. I think going into this, I was largely going off of what had been recommended to me. I saw a lot of articles online saying you don't want to miss out on this game. This game got nominated at the Game Awards for some of the indie stuff. So I was like, oh, I'll check it out. So it's on Steam, indie game. I want to support the indie devs. Maybe let's see what it's all about. Started playing it, and it just kind of felt good. It was relaxing. It was calming in a lot of ways, despite the eeriness. Just the experience of the loop of going out, catching a few fish, bringing them back, bring in the haul, get my money, use it towards upgrades, use it towards building out what my ship was, my tools on the ship were. You kind of look at a little fisherman's boat. You want to, different fishing rods allow you to fish in different environments. There's certain that you can fish on coral reefs, or you can fish in deep sea, and you need different equipment. You need headlights or the front lights on your boat, and that allows you to have an opportunity to go out into the dark at night and catch different sorts of fish. And you're filling out your book almost like Pokemon-esque. So there's a lot of elements of like getting all the fish in a certain region or types of fish, upgrading your ship, and running errands, and kind of like a little bit of that mundane activity, but in fun ways, akin to Animal Crossing, akin to Stardew Valley, where it just kind of falls into this routine that I just kind of cruise control, and you're enjoying yourself. I found it very easy to sink in several hours or just a few minutes, just like, I'll just run a few more runs of catching fish just so I can fix the repairs on my ship or upgrade to that new rod that I was looking for. And that was very enjoyable. It was something that I kind of needed at the time with all these larger games around it, that I was like, oh, I got to finish this objective. I got to finish this story. The scale of everything was so much. This was more of a chill, eerie, down and cool kind of vibe to it that I found very just, I don't know how to put it, besides just it kind of was what I needed. And I think many others would enjoy this as well, in the sense that you can play this very intently and focused on, or you could play this in a fashion in which you got some show that you're watching and you kind of want to coast around and turn your mind off and do that. I think it allows for both. And those are two very specific play styles I lean one or the other towards. I'm not always in the mood for one. I'm like, sometimes I want to just sit there and focus solely on a game. Other times I want to grind out some missions or find something that's a little bit more grindy, but a little bit more I can turn my brain off while I'm putting something on. Funny enough, one of the things I put on was I decided to finally watch the movie The Lighthouse, which is kind of the same ilk and vein of subject matter, where it's this eerie sailor kind of vibe to it with William Dafoe and Robert Pattinson. And I was playing this game and it was very fitting. And it made me wonder, are there other video game movie pairings that exist that are good? Let me know what you think. So that's what I played and experienced. What did I like? I think I kind of touched on a bit as well of like what that experience was like. What would I improve upon or change, I guess is the next question. And in that vein, I think about it and I don't think there's much I would add beyond I want more, really. And I think they've already answered that. The game has been out for some time now, as it came out last year. There's already been one, maybe two more expansions, one of which is a crossover with the game Dave the Diver, and one of which it kind of explores a glacial kind of region where you're in those snowy, icy waters and the different things you face there. So I've yet to experience either of those, but those are kind of what I would ask of this, is like I would want more. Because in my playthrough, I knew the main objectives that it was wanting me to pursue. I was very interested in kind of making my ship fully upgraded. That was the thing I leaned hard into, and it let me. So I just kind of went in that vein of like, okay, I don't want it to end yet, and then I can choose when to end and go pursue the main story. So it was a very fun experience. I very much enjoyed it, and my gripes were only that I only had so much of it. And so I think that's a good. I'm curious what they could do with in future games if they so choose, whether it be maybe more in the same vein of a fisherman sailor experience in the Cthulhu world, or doing a different type of Cthulhu-esque experience where maybe you're not a fisherman, but maybe you're I don't know, like a truck driver, or maybe a different environment of a similar type of thing. But it was a very fun experience, very seamless gameplay, very straightforward kind of focus and intent. And I think overall, I would recommend this to anyone who's willing to try something a little different. Someone who enjoys some of those types of games, like I said, of like an Animal Crossing or Stardew, where there's some basic activities, but they're enjoyable and they're done in a fashion in which you enjoy those activities, and they're kind of like a collectible feel to it, or upgradable feel to it. Like I'm managing a set of things and is interested in some fashion. I think in the Cthulhu subject matter, I think it's there. It's not very in your face, but it's also very not in your face. It's kind of like this nice little medium of how much it's there. It's something that you have to always be aware of, because the more time you spend in the evening sailing out and about, the more it infects you and your character and the things you see and don't see. And So it's a very much part of it, but you can very much enjoy much of the game without having to really mess with it too much, besides what it needs of you. It is a bonus if you enjoy that type of subject matter of the Cthulhu, eldritch, horror genre or fandoms and lore that exist out there in various fashion. I think my overall grade for this is a solid A. I think this game is great. I loved it. I had nothing but fun playing it. It was chill. It was exactly what I was looking for. And my only gripe to that is that there's only so much of it. So that's my review of the game. What do you think? Have you had a chance to play it? So did you have any thoughts, anything that you would like to see changed, or what was your experience like? Let me know. I'd love to hear. As I go and figure out more about Boo's history, we'll look to see you on the next episode. Thank you. I'll catch you guys next time. Who are you?